Good afternoon. We're gonna do a little bit of weekly prep. Hold up, for those of you on YouTube, give me 1 second. Let me see if I can get some of my mentees to join. 1 sec. All right, so for those that don't know, we're gonna go ahead and start off with our sector review. I'm gonna go ahead and start off with the industries first, and then we'll come back to IWM, SPY, and QQQ. With the month ending, I usually just look at the weekly and move my way down. But with the month getting ready to end, literally the 29th, 30th, and 31st, 3 days left of trading in the year. The month is over, the quarter is over, and then also the year is over. So, what we'll do is just take a quick look at like how the year is shaping up, specifically for materials. So, materials, I would actually be looking out for this sector going into next year because we're ending the year on a fail two down, beautiful fail two down, right? And I believe we're just above yep. So we're currently, it looks like we're going to close above the 50% of the previous candle as well. Um, Nice little fail too. So it looks like we're set up for a 2-2 reversal next year. I'm really honestly, materials is a sector I've been keeping my eye on because of all the quantum computing. It's going to require materials to make all that to make that stuff. So a lot of these companies that are not necessarily popular, but they provide the materials to make the chips for the quantum for all this quantum computing companies, and then also the AI stuff and everything as well too. It definitely is gonna, I think they're gonna, get a windfall off of that, and we're gonna see some bullish positive movement. Looking at the quarter, we also have actionable signal as well too. Again, 3 days left, but currently the quarter is looking like it's going to finish hammer. Again, another failed two down on the hammer. Or if it ends as a hammer, Momo hammer, right? Because it's in an uptrend and not at the end of a downtrend. Looking at the month, beautiful 2-2 reversal on the month. I'm sorry, beautiful. No, not 2-1-2. Sorry, the one was throwing me off over here. Yeah, 2-2 reversal on the month as well too. So yeah, just looking bullish, looking for upside. It looks like if we can clear this area here based off the monthly, if we can clear this stack of swing highs, or these highs up here, not swing highs, excuse me, these highs up here, looks like, we're heading back to all-time highs. Probably should see 50 for XLB for materials sometime in the future. Weekly ended as a two up as well too, right? Nice little profit taking pullback the previous week, but ended up as a solid two up. Yeah, again, same highs that we were talking about before. But yeah, um, overall looks really decent to me. Looks like XLB is going to be the sector to watch heading into next year. I'm actually going to do some research, check out its seasonality, see what quarters it performs best in. But yeah, I definitely like this one heading into next year. And then also what we're seeing on, let's close this out real quick. Let me close out some of the other stuff. So there's no other pop-ups. Okay, we're good. All right. And then yeah, just on the daily, a 2-2 close to the upside. Right. So if we once we clear these highs, obviously there's probably going to be some sort of a pullback or some sort of retracement, but overall long term, definitely a sector that I would have added to my watch list for sure. Flipping back on the year, let's go to XLC. XLC just pushing and just kept on pushing. Continuation year, not really much else to say, just a continuation year. All signs point bullish based off the yearly. Quarter, actually nice recovery, right? Pull back during the beginning part of the quarter, and then looks like we're going to end as an inside hammer if we can get a little bit more expansion, or possibly two up. We'll see what happens with the quarter, but either way, trend is saying up for now. Monthly is looking like a rev strat, right? One followed by, well, a bullish rev strat. One followed by a two down. Sorry, that was bugging me. One followed by a two down, followed by a two up. That's your ref strat. Look for this target to be taken out next 119.55. Taking it back into all-time high territory, right? Um, Weekly, after going double inside, finally breaks out of that range. A lot of consolidation. Then we finally broke out the range. So XLC is definitely one that I'll be watching as well too. I believe, well, Meta, what was it back in, was it November or early December? When it dropped, and then no, that was from Thanksgiving week, I believe, right? And now it took off. It was down at 587. Same thing is kind of happening to Netflix as well too. That big drop. I forget the percentage, but eventually that thing's going to recover as well too. I know the market's like acting real scary with the Warner Brothers deal or whatnot, but without it, it's still fine in my opinion. But yeah, XLC looking decent. Definitely looking decent. Looking at the week. Finished inside on the week, so we'll see what excuse me, on the daily. So we'll see what that brings. But even with the inside, again, all signs still point bullish. If we pull back on a smaller time frame, I'd look to realign. I look to align with the higher time frames, right? Once we get a little retracement, then a reversal back to the upside to align with what the higher time frames are doing. Let's go check out energy real quick. I know energy's kind of been on watch with what's been happening with Trump and Venezuela and all that good stuff, and the tankers being pulled over. Not pulled over, but pulled over. It's made it seem like they're driving. Um, with the tankers getting seized and everything. For me, I really have not touched XLC just simply because of this type of stuff that I'm seeing here. To me, it just is chop, right? The wicks are doing the damage. The body is the one that's staying pretty much in range. Not really much is happening. So, from a swing perspective, it's not necessarily one that I'm looking at or looking to, try to tackle or play. Um, Quarter, yeah, right. Quarters in a range, stuck in a range. Hasn't really, uh, hasn't really done much, right? I mean, obviously the uptrend is there, still making higher lows. Just anytime it seems to be pushing up, a little bit higher, it's not really going anywhere, not really doing much. Looking at the monthly, same thing. Yeah, honestly, I don't know. Like I know some people have been trading XLE, maybe on the smaller time frames, probably will give you a little bit of our opportunity. For example, on the monthly, right? Seeing that fail two down looks like it might be set up for a 2-2 reversal, back to the downside, at least to take out liquidity down here. Um, and if it goes further, then obviously you have liquidity down here at 37. But yeah, that's about it. That's about it. And it's not necessarily a mother bar, but basically we're still trading in the range of this huge candle. Haven't really been able to break outside of it just yet. Um, yeah, I would feel more confident if we could maybe take out this high. But yeah, I'm not really confident in XLE, just my opinion. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I really don't care. Um, Market's always providing money making opportunities. So if I miss out on this, then there's going to be something else. But you know, just looking at the higher time frames, it's like basically you're stuck in a range. Like you push up, come right back. If you fall, like it doesn't know what it wants to do just yet. Um, if I had to lean a certain way, I'd probably be leaning more bearish. We've just been kind of wicking at the highs up here. right? There's our initial high. We put in another high. We swept it, came back down. Um, yeah, it and a whole lot of consolidation. So, nothing actionable just yet, in my opinion. Nothing actionable just yet. So I would let that one fly till it gives me something a little bit better. Financials had a really bomb year, had a really good year. Two up continuation on financials. Quarter, nice little hammer, Momo hammer. Looks like that's how we're gonna end. Monthly, two up as well too. Yeah, finances have been doing pretty damn well. Weekly, two up. Yeah, basically all signs point bullish until it tells me something different. Um, on the smaller time frame, right? If we get a retracement, that's fine, right? Just, that'll give a beautiful opportunity. Like even if we come down here, maybe sweep liquidity here, give us a beautiful opportunity to get back in, aligning ourselves with the higher time frame, and what the higher time frames want to do. So financials, yeah, bullish until it shows different, until it shows differently. So it is at all-time highs, so there's always, a chance for exhaustion, right? All-time highs if you look at the higher time frames. So but yeah, bullish until it proves differently, until it proves me otherwise. Industrials, good year for industrials as well too. Beautiful year for industrials actually. Uh, Damn, I need to go check out Cat. I don't know why. Like I like watching industrials, but for some reason during the trading session, I just I stop watching or whatever. But yeah, proof is there. Good year there. Two up continuation. Again, looking like we're gonna close hammer on the quarter for industrials. Really got to check out GE. Monthly is looking 2-2 reversal, right? Two down, two up reversal. So again, until proves otherwise, we're looking at bullishness here. Double inside on the week, right? And again, we are at highs, so maybe exhaustion and pullback, followed by pullback. But that's how I would treat it. Pullback, not necessarily a reversal. Um, I mean, but yeah, there's definitely some lows that I would love to see get tested before we start pushing up higher. Like for example, this low here, down at 147. I'd love to see that get tested or swept. Um, that would be boom. There's your broadening formation here. Boom. And all right, if we could get that going, boom and boom. All right, so there's your broadening formation. Come down, maybe sweep the lows here. Look for that reversal back to the upside. On the weekly for industrials. But yeah, higher time frames are pointing bullish for right now. Um, Hammer, bearish hammer on the day. Still a fail too. Still a fail too, but it's still bearish, so we'll see. But yeah, honestly, I'd be leaning bullish. I'd be leaning bullish for XLI for sure. XLK, how we doing? Tech? How we doing tech? Let's see how we finished the year. Yep, tech's up on the year, of course. Actually went 3 on the year. That is a reversal candle, so that means we started out as a two down first on the year, and then Bull said, "Nah, hold my beer real quick." Came right back up. Quarter gives us that two up. Continuation. Month is inside, right? So consolidation maybe before the next move, or consolidation pullback before next move. We shall see. Weekly gives us a 2-2 reversal. Not a lot of movement, obviously, right, compared to the other candles. So we'll see what next week brings. We do have obviously New Year's on, what's it, Thursday? New Year's Eve, Wednesday, Thursday is New Year's. I didn't check to see the market's hours, but go ahead and check it. Daily, the daily just gave us a fail too. Let me see. Oh, actually, no, it's not a fail too. It's just a bearish too. So, but yeah, higher time frames are aligning bullish. We'll see what next week brings, right? I don't expect too much movement again with the holiday, but we'll see what next week brings, for sure. But yeah, long-term tech, yeah, lean bullish. If anything, if you get a, pullback, treat it as a retracement, because again, we are at the high, so a retracement would be healthy. In order for it to go up higher, it does need to come back down a little bit, so it would be healthy. Like it wouldn't be something crazy to think about. We'll go to staples, consumer staples. Yeah, so from what I'm seeing with consumer staples, based off the yearly, it's an inside year, but if you pay attention to the first initial high that got put in, which is here, right? We haven't been able to hold above that, right? We made a higher high, we swept it, right? Just to illustrate, there's your sweep, right? This is your second attempt with this inside candle, so um, potential for pullback, right? We're at all-time highs. Exhaustion would make total sense for a pullback before we start thinking back about upside. But yeah, a lot of resistance there at that previous high, right? As you can see, every time we have crossed above 81.34, huge rejection, right? Double top here, third attempt, rejection. So honestly, I would be leaning bearish for XLP. Um, if we can take out lows here, we have a nice low down here at 65 and change. Uh, Boom, there's your broad information there, the bottom side of it, and then your top side based off the quarterly, right? So I would have this marked up based off the quarter, right? Because so obviously that doesn't mean any time, next week or whatever, but based off the quarter, that would be a target, right? Assuming that we see, we see a continued two down here in force, right? Because again, we have 3 days left, so quarter's not over. We see that, then yeah, I could see us definitely pushing down a little bit further. Based off monthly is a fail two, right? So what we have is a downtrend sweeping of the highs here, right? And then, there's your bullishness. But December looks to be a fail two up for now. So we'll see if that leans more into a little bit of a bigger pullback before potentially retracing back to the upside. When we drill it down on the month, we have, obviously another target here as well, 72.93. If we continue downside, right? And then looking at the week was a fail two down, nice little gap above. So potentially, this is um, don't get it twisted though. Like since this pivot here, actually really since here, we've, kind of been making lower highs, right? We haven't been able to get back above that. There's your high, lower high there, lower high there. So maybe we like I would just watch this area, right? If we come back up to 80 and you see it starts to sputter out for XLP, then yeah, based off the weekly, I would start looking at um, puts to the downside. I'm not sure what Costco or Walmart looking like. I know Walmart was up at all-time highs, so I'm not really sure where it's at right now. But yeah, I think we'll probably close the gap. I think it's probably this push to back to the upside will probably be your manipulation. Actually, let me mark that out real quick, right? So if we come back and take that, right? 80.25, come back into the daily. So yeah, that's where I'll be paying attention to. Because even on the daily, right, we're still making lower highs, right? So there's your high there, there's your next lower high. So I would be paying attention to somewhere just short of this area. If it starts sputtering out around there, makes another swing high. Yeah, we'll probably see a reversal back to the downside. All right. So XLU, utilities, utilities. Good year for utilities. Two up on the year, right? Again, at all-time highs, so potential for exhaustion, right? So, yep. So far on the quarter, that's where showing your exhaustion. So looks like if the quarter closes as that failed two, I'd look for a 2-2 reversal. We actually go 2-1-2 reversal to the downside. So yeah, that would, lean into my theory or bias of more blood. This will probably, in my opinion, overall, this would probably be just a retracement phase, right? Because if you look at the bigger picture, we're still making higher highs and higher lows, right? Higher high, higher high, higher high, higher high, higher low, higher low, higher low, right? So we're still in an uptrend, but in every uptrend, you have to have pullback, right? Uptrend, pullback, higher uptrend, pullback, uptrend, right? So, um, you know, for me, that pullback is what I'll be looking at and, trying to align myself later on. But that doesn't mean that you can't, this is higher time frames here. So that doesn't mean on a lower time frame you can't get yourself maybe like a weekly, swing on puts or something like that. Looking at the week is a fail two. Um, with the fail two, right? Potential for a 2-2 reversal, right? But just make sure again that you're in tune with what the higher time frames are doing, because even with that push, it may, just push to retest the previous monthly low and then fail out, right? So just be aware of that. Um, oops, I don't know why I keep right clicking. My bad, y'all. And then the daily, right? It's pushing, right? But again, don't be fooled. This could be the manipulation phase. Since this pivot here, again, you've been making lower highs and lower lows, right? So lower highs and lower lows. So on a smaller time frame, you're definitely in a downtrend. So this could be the manipulation back to the upside. I would definitely pay attention to where resistance showed its face, right? Right around here. That could lean to a sweep here to fail and continue lower, right? So just don't get caught up in that. Let's take a look at healthcare. We'll get rid of all this stuff right here. There we go. So healthcare went fail two, potential to go outside, potential to go outside on the year. Fail two, definitely came back up. Say, hold my beer. We're definitely back above the 50%. $3 away from taking all-time highs as well too. We close like that. We'd expect continuation. Beautiful 2-1-2 on the quarter. 2-1-2 reversal on the quarter back to the upside. Um, monthly is giving us inside actionable signal. Looks like we came about 50% of the way. Yep, 50% of the way of the previous candle. So yeah, this doesn't make me want to, even though it's a red bearish candle, it doesn't make me want to say, oh yeah, we're gonna go bearish now. We really, for me, the way I look at it is if I want the bulls to protect, I would expect them to, set up defense around the 50% and then potentially push it back up. And it looks like that's what the bulls are doing here. These are what the buyers are doing. Um, so we'll see. Honestly, it looks like we're getting ready to TTO back to the upside, that 159.64. I'm not sure if all of that is Lilly, but I will say this: United Healthcare has been getting its ass kicked lately. And so I think that one is probably due. Inside on the week, right? Nice little consolidation on the week. We'll see what next week brings. But yeah, overall, I would be leaning bullish on healthcare. Um, yeah, just looks like TTO on a higher time frame, and even now here with this pullback, looks like another TTO potential back to the upside. Let's see, daily. Yeah, a lot of consolidation, not a lot of movement, but yeah, so far based off of what we've seen, the monthly is the only one that's bearish as far as the time frames are concerned, and even that failed to close above close below the 50 or failure to get below the 50%. We do have 3 days left. So, if something catastrophic happens, then we can take a look. But yeah, um, assuming that the 3 days are uneventful, then as far as price movement is concerned, then yeah, I would I would expect XLV to continue to see bullishness overall long term. Uh, I always forget XLY. Consumer discretionary. Yeah, basically two up on the year. Really big pullback though, but yeah, couldn't close below 50% of the previous candle. Two up continuation on the year. Quarter is two up, just not currently in force, but I mean it's pretty much getting there. Nice little TTO here, back to the upside. Nice little 2-2 reversal on the quarter, and then this quarter looks like we're gonna, we should close with the continuation. Monthly is November was not a very good month, but the Nirvana is giving you the 132 right to the upside. November was not very nice to XLY, but yeah, It looks like profit taking pullback gets bought up, and then the next month we get a two up. Just needed to would like to see it expand further because if it continues to struggle around this area, then yeah, probably going to see potentially a reversal, retracement, etc. Weekly is giving us that inside, all right, giving us that inside candle. Yeah, again, just need to see expansion away from here, displacement expansion up to the upside. Um, or yeah, or we're probably gonna see a pullback for sure. Looking at the daily, yeah, daily's giving you their nirvana. So I think on the short term, we're probably gonna see a pullback for XLY. Looks like 120.52 is gonna be one of the targets there. But yeah, if we go 132 downside, then yeah, I would start looking at puts at least in the short term until it can realign with what's going on with the month or the quarter, or wait to see if, I don't think it's obviously not going to change yeah, definitely not. But we'll see what the new year brings. But I think we're on at least in the smaller time frames, we're going to see some sort of a pullback. All right, let's go chips real quick. Chips, 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 chips. Chips had a great year as well, of course. Two up, and we still going. Two up on the year. Expansion, expansion, expansion. Higher highs, lower lows. In this case, higher highs. Expansion, expansion, expansion. Quarters two up after going double outside combination, right? Explosion to the upside. Monthly, just a little bit of double topping here. So we'll see if we can close the month. I would love to see us displace above what's this, October's highs. That's 372. Looks like we're meeting a little resistance there, so something to watch out for. Um, but yeah, on the week, nice little 2-2 reversal. Back to the upside. So again, just looking for that continuation heading into next week. But we are at the top of the Broadman formation, right? So, a little resistance there. Um, yeah, just something to watch out for. Excuse me. Okay, so flipping over to let's take a look at IWM first. IWM small caps, right? Nice year, beautiful reversal on the year, right? Started off, again, sellers sellers thought they knew what was what, right? And then buyers said, "Hold my beer real quick," and boom, beautiful reversal candle, a three candle. So we are at all-time highs. So obviously, always a chance for exhaustion. But yeah, beautiful reversal on the year. Quarter's a nice two up as well too. Monthly is a two up as well. Just struggling with that 252 level. Struggling with that 252 level. I would like to see us close and hold above 252. If that's the case, then yeah, that opens 255, 258, 260. That opens that up. Weekly is giving us an inside, so potential for a pullback. Again, just watching this area around that 252, it seems to be struggling to hold above that range. So again, we'll see what this last week and new year brings in. Remember when the new year starts on the what's it, the second? Is the market going to be open on the second? Hold on, let me just double check, make sure. Let's just make sure. Excuse me. Let's see. Main home sales Tuesday, New Year's holiday. Well, it looks like it's just New Year's Day. Yeah, just New Year's Day. All right, so yeah. Um, anyway, back to what I was saying for IWM. Insight on the week and then looking at the daily. Uh, daily is giving you a two down, just not currently in force. But yeah, I mean, honestly, since this pivot here, based off the daily, we made a short-term high. So if we can't get back above that high, I would expect to see more downside, and that would be a target at 246.70. That would be a target for me. Um, but we'll see though. We'll see. Actually, it keeps doing that. Go up on the year, almost at 7,000 for ES. Quarter up, double outside, explosion. Monthly is up as well too. Weekly closed upside, solid. Yeah, but again, we're at all-time highs, so just be careful there, right? Whenever at all-time highs, there's a chance for potential exhaustion and reversal. Obviously my indicator showing buy side liquidity taken as well too, so potential for a pullback before, possibly moving up higher. But yeah, again, long term, yeah, 2026 is looking, unless something drastically changes, 2026 is looking rather bullish to me, for certain sectors. XLB is definitely going to be one I got to keep my eyes on. I definitely dropped the ball with AA, because I saw an option, I think for the 50 call, for January 16th. And, yeah, I just never pulled the trigger on that. Never pulled the trigger on it. So, yeah, NQ looking good on the year as well. Quarter looks good. Month is inside, but still bullish. The weekly is a two up. I'm sorry, 3-2-2 rev strat, a bullish rev strat, right? Outside followed by a two down, followed by a two up. So that's your rev strat right there on the weekly. Nice little turnaround. Higher lows being made so far as well too. Um, inside on the daily. I thought it was a holy grail, but inside on the daily. So yeah. Even if we do get a pullback, I would just treat it as a retracement, um, not necessarily bearishness. To me, like honestly, leaning bullish, full time frame continuity is bullish as well too. For that. So yeah, that's everything in a nutshell. Um, materials. I think communications got something brewing as well too. Healthcare definitely got something brewing. I'm actually kind of curious. I just want to take a look at UNH. Let's get rid of all the drawings. See how do we close? Yeah, so UNH, ooh, down on the year though. Ooh, down on the year. Yikes. Let's see, the quarter. So the quarter gave us a failed two down, but couldn't really get away. Couldn't really do much. Couldn't really do much. Actually, I take it back then on I mean, there's potential here, but not like, yeah, definitely for sure that UNH all of a sudden is going to blast off. I think it needs a catalyst. Nice holy grail into a failed two down, so that opens up to a potential 1-2-2 rep strap back to the upside based off the weekly. I mean, however, bigger picture, we're still making lower highs since the pivot here. Lower high, right? Lower high as well over there. I know maybe we made a little short-term high here, but yeah. So if we can get back above here, then it might help me to change the way I'm looking, right? Basically back above 380 for UNH. But on the smaller time frames, there's opportunity here for sure. There's definitely opportunity. But yeah, my focus will be mainly on like materials, AA. Actually, FCX is probably going to deserve a look as well too. So yeah, looks like on the smaller time frames we'll see some exhaustion, but then on the higher time frames, nice beautiful fail too for FCX. So we're looking for a potential to go outside. It's 3 days left, so we're not that far away to go outside on the year, right? So something to pay attention to. If we close on FCX above $55, then we went outside on the year, then your very next target is up at 64. Um, Beautiful close on the, well, not close, but beautiful move on the quarter. Nice two up there. Monthly, after a double inside, broke out of that range, TTO back to the upside as well too. Weekly with the two up, the daily. Again, the daily just looks like there's going to be some short-term exhaustion, but yeah, definitely going to take a look and keep this on my swing watch list for sure. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and post this on the YouTube. If you have any questions on YouTube, please feel free to comment. We'll work this into doing this on a weekly basis. All right. And then we'll go from there. But yeah, like, share, subscribe. Anyway, I'm out. Love, peace, and chicken grease.